What's up, SnEaKyNation? SnEaKyP here with all of my picks for week number 6 in the NFL season. Before we do this, let's go ahead and check out how we did in week number 5. So I had the Rams winning this one on the road in Seattle. That did not happen. A very close game, but the Seahawks did win. So 0-1 for me to start off the week. I also had the Jags winning, but Panthers and McCaffrey just went off in this one. Particularly just McCaffrey, more so than the rest of that team. But the Panthers got the win, 0-2. I did have the Patriots winning, so 1-2. That's a gimme every week with the teams they've been playing, I feel like. I had the Titans over the Bills. That did not happen. So 1-3 so far on the week. This is another bad one for me by the looks of things here. I did pick the Steelers in an upset, and they really should have won this game. I feel like they should have won it. They ended up losing in overtime, so I was incorrect. 1-4. I had the Bengals over the Cardinals. 1-5, dude. This is so bad. On to the next one. I did have the Texans winning this one, so 2-5. I did have Tampa Bay winning. That did not happen. 2-6. I had the Vikings winning this one. I was right there. 3-6. I did not mean to click that. I'll go back down really quick. 3-6. Bears and the Raiders. I had the Bears winning, but the Raiders got revenge against Khalil Mack. So 3-7 for me this week. I did have the Eagles winning. 4-7. That was one I'll take. I had the Chargers winning. That didn't happen. 4-8, man. I had the Packers winning that, so 5-8. Then I had the Chiefs winning. That didn't happen. 5-9. And then I had the Browns winning. 5-10. This is the worst week I just about have ever had. Now, I did take a few games that I knew were on the fence. I talked about it. But overall, that's just a terrible showing, man, if I'm going 5-10. Hopefully, I can rebound and do better in this next game. So let's go ahead and take a look. This next game, I meant the week. Once again, I tweeted out my prediction prior to Thursday's game. Obviously, I took the Patriots in this. So, I think this is my first Thursday game that I've gotten right. So I think that's a sign that things are going to go really good this week, hopefully. We shall see. Panthers and Buccaneers. This is an interesting one. The Panthers are winning in large part because of Christian McCaffrey. Kyle Allen's getting the victories. He hasn't really looked all that great. But it's so hard to predict the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game because you just never know which Jameis Winston is going to show up. He could be the great Jameis Winston that throws for a ton of yards and touchdowns, or it could be Jameis Winston that throws 2 pick sixes and 3 interceptions. You just don't really know. So it's a tough one for me. I'm leaning towards... I'm leaning towards the Bucs here. I know this one's over in London, I believe, so it's not a true home game for Tampa Bay. But I'm leaning towards the Bucs in this. I kind of keep waiting for the wheels to fall off with Kyle Allen in there. I think the Bucs' run defense might help out a little, although I don't think they're as good as they looked earlier in the year. But anyway, I'm going to go with the Bucs in this. I could be wrong. Carolina's finding ways to win games, man. But I'm going to go the Bucs here. Redskins and the Dolphins, a.k.a. the Toilet Bowl. I'm going to go with the Redskins pretty easily here. I think the Redskins are bad, but I think the Redskins actually want to win. And they're going to have a new coach to play for in this week. I think that might give them a little bit of motivation. The Dolphins, I just don't think care one way or another. I mean, I'm sure those players want to go out there and win. I don't think they're showing up to lose, but I think the organization wants them to lose this game. I'm going to go the Redskins here. Eagles and the Vikings. This is a pretty good game. I could really see this one going either way. But I'm leaning towards the Vikings at home here. I could be wrong. The Eagles are another one of those teams, man, and you could say the same for the Vikings, where you just don't know which version of them is going to show up. But I'm going to go with the Vikings at home in this one. Texans and Chiefs. This should be a pretty good game, but I'm going to take the Texans at home. The Chiefs at home. I'm sorry. I think the Chiefs are a better team right now, but the Texans are playing some really good football at the moment. At least last week. I guess the week prior they lost to the Panthers, didn't they, without Cam Newton? I don't know. I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. They lost last week. I think they don't want 2 losses in a row. I think that's going to help them out, also being at home. And then they have a guy by the name of Patrick Mahomes. So I'm leaning towards the Chiefs here. Saints and the Jags. Gosh, I'm going to go with the Saints, man. I've picked against Teddy Bridgewater a few times now, and it has backfired both times. I do think the Jags have a good defense. But Teddy Bridgewater is looking like a really good quarterback. Obviously, the Saints are a very talented team. I'm going to take the Saints in this one. Seahawks and the Browns. I'm actually going to go with the Browns at home, which might be a little bit shocking considering what happened to the Browns on Monday. Might be more shocking considering I feel like the Seahawks have had 4 extra days to prepare for this game, considering they played last Thursday and the Browns played on Monday. But I don't... See, I say this, right? I feel like this is one of those games the Browns should win. But I also think Freddie Kitchens is in way over his head. And I don't really think he knows which direction's up at this point. So maybe I should pick the Seahawks. But you know the thing with the Seahawks, despite their record of being 4-1, it's not like they've been dominating most of these games. I think 3 of these games have been a point or 2 victory, which a win's a win. You got to be happy with it. I'm not trying to discredit them for that. I'm just saying it's not like they're blowing teams out of the water right now. They're doing enough to win. I think the Browns are going to be a little bit extra motivated for this game, especially after all of the news going on around the NFL about them after Monday night. I'm going to take the Browns, man. But I don't trust Freddie Kitchens at all. I think he's a bad coach, so we'll see what happens there. Bengals and the Ravens. I'm going to take the Ravens at home here. Pretty self-explanatory, I would think. 49ers and the Rams. I'm going to come back to this game because I'm going to be talking about this game a little bit more with me being a 49er fan. So we'll tune back into this one. Falcons and the Cardinals. This is an interesting game, man. On one hand, the Falcons should be a lot better than their record. They should be. But they have a horrible defense. Their defense is looking so incredibly terrible right now, man. And, you know, it's actually funny. I was talking to a Falcons fan prior to the season who was going on and on about how great the Falcons were going to be this year. Not how great they were, but, you know, he felt they had a real chance to win the division and possibly make it back to another Super Bowl appearance, all while talking about how bad the 49ers were. How's that going now? But really, I do think the Falcons should be better than they are. But when their defense is just playing as bad as they are, how do you pick them? The Cardinals, I don't have a lot of faith in them either, though. It's really, the Falcons should win this game. They should. In my opinion, the Falcons should win this game. But I'm going to pick the Cardinals because the Falcons haven't shown me anything that makes me believe in them right now. I think they're the more talented team. But I feel like the Cardinals are actually playing for more at the moment, if that makes sense. So, I don't know. The Falcons just, they just don't look like they have it right now. So, I'm going to take the Cardinals. I don't know if that's considered an upset pick based on how the Falcons have played, but I kind of view that as maybe an upset pick either way. Cowboys and the Jets. The Cowboys are going to be very happy to play another terrible team this week. You know, they can get back to whooping up on scrub teams without actually having to play anybody significant and lose to them. So, I'm going to go with the Cowboys in this game. And I'm fully aware that the 49ers haven't really played anybody good either. I just like joking around, you know. Titans and the Broncos. I'm actually going to go with Denver at home here. Yeah, I'm going to go with Denver at home in this. Obviously, this is another game that I feel like maybe the Titans are probably going to be favored in. I don't know. I would assume so, though. But I'm going to take the Broncos at home there. Steelers and the Chargers. Gonna go with the Chargers. Steelers are down to their third-string quarterback. As a 49ers fan, I've seen a lot of third-string quarterbacks play over the last few years. And, or play a lot of games, I guess. Not a lot of third-string quarterbacks, but depending on how you view it. But either way, it's tough to win with a third-string quarterback. You know, even if they play admirably, it's just tough to win in this league with a third-string quarterback. I'm going to go Chargers. Lions and the Packers. The Lions are playing a lot better than I thought they would. But Aaron Rodgers at home Monday night. I'm going to go with the Packers here. So back up to the 49er and Rams game. Like I said, I'm going to talk about this one a little bit more. So far to me, the 49ers, they haven't beaten a great team, but they have beaten a few pretty okay teams. Like the Browns, I think anybody could look at that Browns roster and recognize they have a lot of talent on that team. And the 49ers were able to beat them. But I am viewing this, the 49ers to me this season, they've proven to me that they're pretty legit, especially on defense. Like, I think the 49ers defense is for real. And if the 49ers were to win this game, it's going to be because of the defense. And you could say that, I guess, about a lot of the games that the 49ers have won this year. But really, I'm going to give this one to the Rams. And there's a few reasons why. One, the Seahawks are the team I dislike the most in the NFL. I always root against the Seahawks. Except for last Thursday. Because the last thing I wanted was for the 49ers to be playing the Rams coming off 2 straight losses. Because the Rams were in the Super Bowl last year. This is a super talented team. And I just don't think teams that have that much talent are going to lose 3 games in a row very often. And the Rams are going to be at home for this one. This is like, we talk about this in the NBA a lot. You don't really hear it talked about in the NFL a ton. But it's a scheduled loss. And I think the 49ers are going to lose this game, but I don't really think it has anything to do with how good the 49ers are as a team. I just really think it comes down to all the variables that are playing a factor. Again, the Rams coming off 2 straight losses. They're going to be super motivated. And that's not to say that the 49ers aren't going to be motivated. Of course they are. I think every NFL team is. But when you have a team on a little bit of a slump like that, especially a good team, like I said, you're not often going to see a good team lose 3 games in a row. The other factors that are really playing into this, kind of the same thing I talked about that Seahawks game, the Rams have had 4 extra days to prepare for this game. You know, they played last Thursday. The 49ers played on Monday. So the Rams had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday focusing on the 49ers while the 49ers were worrying about a different team entirely. Now, this might not be a huge advantage depending on the coach, but I think most people recognize Sean McVay is a good coach. And I think because of that, that's just going to give them a massive advantage over the 49ers. I mean, 4 extra, days to prepare. The other thing really working against the 49ers right now, and it's not just this game, it's beyond this game, is the 49ers have the #1 rushing attack in the NFL. Part of that is they have a good offensive line, and part of that's because they have Kyle Juszczyk, who is often a lead blocker and throws some incredible blocks that really gets the 49ers run offense going. So much of what the 49ers do is around Kyle Juszczyk. He got injured last week, but it's not just him that got injured. That would have been a significant blow either way. Mike McGlinchey also got injured. So right now the 49ers are without Joe Staley, their starting left tackle, and Mike McGlinchey, their starting right tackle, and Sean Coleman, their backup swing tackle. So the 49ers are going to be starting their 4th string and their 5th string tackles for this game. And they're going to be missing Juice, who is like kind of that safety net behind the tackles anyway on pass plays, especially. That's just such a significant blow, man. Again, the 49ers had the #1 rushing offense in the NFL, but when you're missing so many key pieces, that's going to stall their run offense. I'm not saying it's going to completely shut down their run offense, but that's definitely going to play a big factor. I mean, you can look across the NFL and see how significant a good offensive line is versus a bad offensive line. There's some great running backs struggling behind bad offensive lines, and some okay running backs doing pretty good behind good offensive lines. So to be down to your 4th and 5th string tackles, I mean, that's just going to play a factor. And then again, I almost think it's more of an issue is not having Kyle Juszczyk in there, because he can kind of help cover some of the tackles. He is an elite blocker, and he can kind of help be a safety cushion there. But without him, you don't have that either. So those are just significant blows. And I know the Rams are missing players to injury as well. They're missing Clay Matthews. I know Gurley's going to be out. I'm sure they have others that are pretty significant for them as well. But I'm not mentioning Akello in this either. But I'm just talking solely about what the 49ers love to do is run the ball down your throat. And there is reason to believe they are going to struggle to do that. I'm not saying they're going to be like a terrible run offense, but do I expect them to be the #1 rushing offense at this point. With these injuries, I don't. So that's going to throw the ball more in Jimmy Garoppolo's hands, who has shown in the past he's capable of throwing the ball down the field and winning you a game that way. But he's also more prone to making mistakes. And I think a few of those mistakes could really come back to haunt the 49ers in this. But what I will say, the Rams' offensive line has been pretty bad this year. They're not going to have Gurley, but outside of that Panther game, Gurley really hasn't looked that good this season anyway, honestly. I think he's averaging under 4 yards a carry in every game but the Panthers one, if I remember right. He just hasn't looked the same. I think he's been banged up, and I think that's a part of the reason why he's going to be out this week, you know, letting some of those injuries heal. I don't know. Maybe a Rams fan could let me know if I'm misspeaking there. But anyway, the Rams' offensive line's not looking very good. The 49ers' defensive line looks elite. They look like the real deal right now. And so the 49ers are capable of winning this game if their defense just straight up takes over. And if that happens, you know, the 49ers have a chance. But for right now, I'm calling this a scheduled loss. Like I said, the 4 extra days to prepare, the 49ers going to have to change their entire game plan up on a short week to kind of counteract the injuries. I just think it's too much to overcome. I think the 49ers are probably due for a loss. I think the Rams are due for a win. There's just too much working against the 49ers here, but if the 49ers lose this game, I don't think it really says anything about the 49ers other than that this was a scheduled loss. You know, when the 49ers get healthy again, I think they're going to continue to run the ball great, and I think their defense is going to continue to step up. So I think the 49ers are going to lose this game, but they have proven to me this season that I think they're pretty legit. I'm not saying they're a Super Bowl contender. I don't think that. But I absolutely think they're fighting for the playoffs, which I really didn't believe before the season. I thought they had a small chance at it, whereas now the team I've seen looks pretty good. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. But those are going to be my predictions for this week. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. How did you guys do last week, and who are you picking this week? Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.